and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11, India's longest running platform for small businesses. I'm Sunanda Jayasseelan. On the show tonight, all the conversations from India Energy Week, where I pose the question, what are the big ideas for a new India when it comes to India's energy consumption? Those questions being posed to none other than ONGC, BPCL and Oil India amongst others, to ask them how India can transition more quickly and more effectively towards an economy which is clean and green and use renewable sources of energy and power. Listen in to what they had to say.
India is the third largest importer of crude oil and petroleum products globally, with a refining capacity of 247 million metric tons per year, and the cost of importing crude oil in India has increased significantly and reached $119 billion in 2022. To enhance the country's energy independence, the government is making significant investments in domestic oil exploration and production, with an increasing focus on renewable energy. India's energy sector is indubitably poised for change, and joining us today are some of the key stakeholders from some of India's eminent oil companies to discuss the role of renewable energy in fueling the country's growth.
Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, which is India's longest running television show for small businesses. And my first question to you, sir, if you can give us an outlook on the energy space, on the oil and gas space for India in the mid to short term, what would you say?
First of all, thank you very much for having me for this discussion today in the wake of India Energy Week 2023. You would actually by now would have seen the kind of discussions or deliberations that's happening in IEW platform.
Yeah.
The theme of IEW is growth, collaboration and transition. So the intent is you script your growth story through collaboration.
Yeah.
And as far as the energy landscape is concerned, I'm very, very positive about it. With the kind of demand that India offers to itself and to the whole globe,
Yeah.
we are the bright spot today in the hydrocarbon space. The reforms to encourage investment in exploration, the reforms to encourage or invite global IOCs or medium-sized players to come and invest in the production space is very, very encouraging. And with the landscape of increasing refining capacity, we see lots of traction even in terms of the source countries to partner with India. So to me, it's not medium term or short term, it's actually a long term thing which is happening, because the India story is not just a snap of transition.
Yes.
We are going to coexist, and as CMD of an oil company, we see the coexistence could run into about 3 decades.
Sure. And you're saying the India story. What is the India story when it comes to becoming energy self-sufficient in the long term?
See, the intent is that you create multiple options. You import, today India imports about 85% of crude oil. But that 85% of crude oil is kindly stagnated because the demand is increasing. So therefore we are importing.
Yeah.
But then we have lots of import substitution strategy which is in place. One is to harness and expedite our alternative energy portfolio. So there is a serious engagement and basket of renewables which has opened up already. Government has also opened up options of creating biorefineries to enhance the percentage of blending of ethanol in motor spirit. And recently the thought process is also on blending methanol in diesel.
Yeah.
Now all this is primarily with an objective that you do invest in biofuel space and reduce your import substitution. Nevertheless, the import is going to stay. So how do you cater it? You cater through expediting your exploration coverage. And to do that, we encourage the overseas investors to come. And what are those path-breaking reforms? India has already created a hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy, under which open acreages you could carve out for yourself and participate in a bidding process. There are sedimentary basins where the category 2 and category 3 basins do not mandate any revenue sharing mechanism. Therefore, these are those encouraging mechanisms to invite partnerships.
Yeah.
Recently, government has unlocked the offshore space, the exclusive economic zone of the country, which is about 1 million square kilometers. The current OLP round is actually looking at about 2.26 lakh square kilometer of area under bidding. And as an oil company, we are looking at seriously to participate in that bidding. Similarly, we are also looking at decarbonization using CO2 for enhanced oil recovery.
Sure.
So, one is you capture carbon and sequester it. But having a gainful insight about the subsurface, we intend to actually use CO2 as part of our UR initiative. So I'm very positive, and these are those plus points which makes India the most attractive destination today.
Okay, I want to talk about renewable energy and why it's becoming so crucial for all companies, small and large, to really have a renewable energy focus. Can you talk to me about perhaps how important or crucial that is for you and what your strategy is?
Being a hydrocarbon entity, we also intend to have a portfolio of alternative energy. So as Oil India, we have already created a portfolio of wind and solar. We have such facilities in Rajasthan, about 188 megawatt. And we have also recently signed an MOU with Assam government, where we predominantly operate, for about 25 megawatt of solar. And that apart, we are also in discussion with a couple of our other collaborators in terms of compressed biogas. We have also created a pilot plant for hydrogen, where we are drawing electricity from a 500 kilowatt solar power plant, and the pilot plant is producing 30 kg per day.
Okay.
And we are now in the process of scaling it up. And during IEW 2023, you would have taken note that Honorable Prime Minister flagged off the e-vehicles,
Yes.
where Oil India Hydrogen Bus featured. It is one of our startups, and we intend to replicate it.
I want to talk about the big picture on energy. So my first question to you is, as we're kicking off today's interview, your view as far as energy and energy consumption and the big picture in energy over the short term and over the mid-term.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Regarding the big picture, I would like to say here that India as such, the primary consumption in India is much more than what we are producing. So where our energy needs are almost to the tune of 230 million tons, and we are producing something around 30 to 35 million tons only. So that difference, so that we have to import. So that importing is very necessary, and that will go on. But definitely this will improve with the, more fields coming into our kitty, into ONGC's kitty, and the production as such of ONGC. So that has already, taken a reversal now. So we are improving on the production. So in 23-24 and in 24-25, we are definitely going to improve the production. So the production is going to bring some kind of a safety factor to our primary consumption needs. So, but at the same time, we all know that we are almost 85% we are importing.
Yes.
So that we have to tackle somehow.
How do you see that changing?
Yes. So that is changing because India as such, we are, having so many policies which are investor friendly. So the Director General of Hydrocarbons, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, so they are introducing so many policies in the way of, you can say, waiver of the taxes, enhanced oil recovery schemes. Then you have this OLP schemes. So where, if the investors, they are, buying certain blocks, so they are given certain incentives in the form of less taxation. Royalties are less. The cess which was there on the earlier productions, that is not there now. So that is a quite investor friendly schemes which are in the coming up, and that will definitely improve the production.
Sure.
Then another important thing is that the government has already given us a go-ahead signal. There were certain areas of about 3 lakh square kilometers which was under, no-go area. So that has already come into our kitty. So we will have more exploration over there. So that aggressively we are going to do that. And yesterday also in the, this Indian Energy Week, this thing was also brought out. So that we are going to spend something around 32,000 crores in the next future, in the next 2 to 3 years. So that will improve our production.
Okay. Ma'am, all the conversations are around clean energy, of course. Just the big picture in terms of how ONGC as a company, as an organization, is moving towards having more and more, and the clean energy and green energy ethos.
So we are doing a lot of efforts in this regard. Rather, a separate vertical is already there in our company, and we are again strengthening on that particular vertical. And we already have certain independent, MOUs with companies like Greenco. Then, but at the same time, in order to have the technology from outside, so we already have collaboration with ExxonMobil. We already have collaboration with Chevron. So, and Norwegian company Equinor. So they are into wind energy. So definitely, we will definitely have a better place now in the clean energy. And definitely, so that will improve our balancing also of the energy.
I'll take a quick break on that note, much more on the other side. Do stay tuned. We're back in just a moment. Welcome back. You're with us here in Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight on the show, I'm in conversation to talk about the big ideas for a new India when it comes to the use of renewable energy. Thank you very much for joining us here on Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now. And we're talking about the big ideas for a new India. And today the conversation is all about renewable energy and clean and green energy. And my first question to you is, congratulations really on the vision that this needs to be a separate effort and a separate division in itself and a separate vertical in itself under BPCL, a separate vertical and a separate initiative really as far as green energy is concerned and renewable energy is concerned. Why are you so bullish on this?
Well, if you look at it world over, not just in India, all the oil companies are looking towards the alternate energy because of the two major reasons. One is on the decarbonization objective as well as from the energy transition point of view. All the oil companies, not just BPCL, are seriously looking into what are the various options and opportunities available. In that respect only, BPCL also has taken a decision to form a separate vertical to have more focus and thrust on the renewable area, where we will have set ourselves with a short-term as well as long-term target for building up a portfolio, renewable portfolio. So this can be achieved only if we have a separate vertical focusing on that area. That is the whole idea behind having a separate vertical in BPCL.
Sure. You have a stated mission that you will be net zero by 2040. Just talk to us a little more on that.
Well, again, the country's target to become a net zero is 2070. In line with that, BPCL also has taken an aspirational target to become a net zero company in terms of its scope 1 and scope 2 emissions by 2040. We have also prepared a clear roadmap on how we shall be achieving this objective by 2040. And we have identified a set of solutions and how we shall, the levers on achieving this net zero. Currently what we are doing is we are doing the techno-commercial viability, evaluating the techno-commercial viability of some of the solutions which we have identified. Broadly I can talk about the solutions are renewable energy, green hydrogen, biofuels, carbon capture, etc. So some of these technologies are still under evolution. It will take few more years for it to mature. So it may not be able to implement it on an immediate basis. But going forward, we expect that things will get addressed and then these technologies can be implemented.
The Prime Minister, when speaking about clean energy, has spoken about new thrust areas, and that's something that you're looking at as well from a strategy level. What are these new areas when it comes to renewable energy?
Our immediate focus is on the solar and wind. So we would be looking to build up portfolio capacity in the solar and wind only.
Okay. What are the opportunities for entrepreneurs who are looking at this space to say, I would like to perhaps, on one hand, work in this space, on one hand, and two, for entrepreneurs who say that my business has to change to respond to the opportunities. Like you said, net zero yourself. What is your advice for businesses?
Actually, there is a huge opportunity for many companies, including the small companies, because I mentioned to you about the capacity addition which is expected in India in probably next 7 to 10 years time. We are looking at a huge capacity addition of in excess of around 220 gigawatt of renewable capacity. Now, this cannot be implemented by only a handful of companies. There has to be hundreds and thousands of the workers, and the small companies would be involved in various stages of the development and the implementation of the project. So in that respect, there is going to be a huge opportunity available for the entrepreneurs.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for speaking with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now, where we are talking about the big ideas for a new India. And today we are, of course, talking about energy, and more specifically, clean and green energy. And my first question to you really is, from an ONGC perspective, can you talk to us about all the efforts and initiatives that you've been doing of late when it comes to also tying into the government's focus on green energy?
Yeah, thank you so much. The government of India has already mentioned that they would be moving towards net zero in 2070, and we as ONGC are also contributing towards it. We are also moving into green energy, moving away from our fossil fuel past to a green future as such. In this regard, ONGC has taken steps towards increasing its gas production as a transition fuel, and then we are also into solar, wind. We are also looking at opportunities in offshore wind. We are looking at opportunities in green hydrogen, and we are planning to move into all these green alternatives in a big way.
Sure.
As far as oil and gas is concerned, we are also looking at carbon capture, utilization and storage, for which we are tying up with other major companies also. And shortly, I think we should be in a position to move ahead on CCUS projects also.
Okay, so you were talking about offshore wind. I just want to quickly pick up on that and ask you if you can talk specifically about the opportunities which are going to come up for India's entrepreneurs when it comes to offshore wind. What is your advice to them through this interview?
Offshore wind would be a very big opportunity that would come up. The country has got a lot of potential. The government of India has already earmarked 2 areas, one in the Kutch offshore and one towards down south to Tamil Nadu. Both these areas, ONGC is also looking towards to set up offshore wind projects. In this regard, we have already started studies in the southern part of India, southern part of offshore India, and we are also tying up with other companies who are working in offshore wind in a big way. So we have major plans to move into offshore wind energy development, and we believe that entrepreneurs in India would also have a lot of opportunities because they could associate it with ONGC or with other major companies who would be working towards this thing, towards development of offshore wind and supply products which otherwise would have to be imported.
Okay, can you talk to us about the FM's announcement and the government's announcement as far as the National Green Energy Mission is concerned, and really your views on that? What are going to be the specific opportunities, if you can talk to us?
As far as the National Green is concerned, ONGC is looking at it in a big way, and to support the government, we are looking at green hydrogen projects also. We are currently have an MOU with a company for developing green energy and then using that for developing green hydrogen. So this is a big project which entails production green energy of about 5 to 6 gigawatts and then producing hydrogen via the ammonia route. So this could also involve pump storage. We have the government also having a focus on pump storage systems, which would be very efficient way of storing energy. So ONGC is moving ahead with it, and shortly we should be planning to have a major project coming up in that area also.
My last question to you, if you can talk to us about the opportunities for small businesses. You know, companies like ONGC, you're of course, you are doing every effort that you can to ensure that you are on this clean energy mission and path. But for a small business which is watching today's interview to say, I also want to contribute to India's story of green, clean energy, what would you have to say to them?
For the Indian small industries, I think the area has opened up. The government has really worked towards ensuring that people or small entrepreneurs are also involved in this scheme. They have come up with Satat, which is being implemented by the OMCs.
Yeah.
And there are other areas, like I mentioned earlier on, that there could be a marketplace where the individual companies, individual small entrepreneurs could set it up, or they could be involved in collecting the biomass, transporting it, delivering it to these companies. So, or coming up with newer technologies. There are many small entrepreneurs who have come up with new technologies as far as conversion of biomass into bioenergy is concerned. And for that, the sky is the limit, because we find that as the time goes by, better and better technologies have been introduced by small players as such. So, and since energy is such a big important topic for the country as a whole. Energy security is one very important issue that faces the country.
Absolutely.
So I think in this case, the small industries or small entrepreneurs can contribute a lot in making this happen. So we would welcome, as ONGC, we are always happy to indigenize our technology, and we have been promoting that. We would be happy to work with entrepreneurs or small industries to help them in this new areas of green energy also. So, sky is the limit for us.
Out of time on tonight's conversations. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our details on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.